Good morning, everybody. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 12th, presented by Mercury. So we got Josh Herren, our good friend from Reaction Innovations and down here in Trussville, Alabama. Josh, tell me what's been going on over at Logan Martin this week.
Lots of boat traffic. I don't know, man. We're starting to get those cooler nights. Seems like we're just starting to really show those yearling shad. So really small, match the hatch kind of deal going on right now.
So how would you recommend people going about fishing it? Would you have them throw a little dipper or something like that on a jig head?
Yeah, absolutely. Little scroungers, little spoons. I mean, it sounds weird, but you can actually catch a lot of fish this time of year on Little George, Little Spoon, anywhere you get around those great big pods of bait.
Where are you seeing them show up? Are they showing up in the middle of the river, in the middle of the pockets, maybe riprap? What kind of stuff are you looking at?
Any of those little transitions going from the river to either a natural creek or into a pocket seems to be where most of them are staging. It's not the time of year you're going to catch giants, but you can go catch a lot of little fish right now, and it's fun for kids and stuff like that.
So is that what you kind of do? Take your kid out fishing this time of the year, spend just a couple hours, but you can probably catch them pretty good on Logan?
Yeah. You want to be there early and plan on getting lunch on the way to the house.
Gotcha. So let's turn to Lay Lake. Let's talk there a little bit. I know you fire up your Mercury, you get running down the lake. What kind of stuff are you looking for there at Lay?
Spotted bass seem to be dominating down there right now. Same kind of deal is still going on. Fish really haven't transitioned that much. Any of those 6 to 8 foot points, looking for timberlines, brush, stuff like that, seems to still be playing pretty strong. You can go catch some largemouth in the grass as always on Lay, but just the bite seems to be a lot more consistent on spotted bass right now. Sorry about that.
So what kind of techniques to target the spotted bass?
Shaky heads, great right now. It's that time of year. You can, like I said, you can still catch some on a scrounger down there too. If you see suspended fish, you really got to watch for a thermocline right now. You can see them on your graphs really good. Fish don't seem to, they just don't seem to play well with them this time of year. They really show up. Just look, it'll be that solid line on your graph that'll show up 10, 15 feet off the bottom, and that's kind of as deep as you want to look anywhere on the lake at that point in time.
So if you're going to look in certain areas for largemouth, grass, anything else there?
Same kind of deal. We're getting these cooler nights, shorter days, fish transitioning, shad are fixing to start filtering into these creeks really good. So that first 200 to 300 yards off the river would be a great place to start.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for spending some time with us here on Bucks Island Area Fishing Report, presented by Mercury.
Thanks, sir.
For Weiss Lake and Neely Henry, presented by Mercury with Lee Pitts, our pro staffer from up there in the Weiss Lake area. Lee, how's everything going today? It seems like you're on the water.
Yeah, I'm out here this morning. I tell you what, that little bit of cool air left us. It's humid out here today.
So last week we fished Neely Henry. We had the Casting for Cancer tournament with Dr. Pirani, and you seemed to do pretty well. Tell us what was going on there at Neely Henry.
You know, we knew it was going to be tough when we got started. Hit the grass real early that morning, never got bit in the grass. So we backed out real early and just went to a shaky head. Caught a lot of fish, caught some small fish. I say a lot, we probably caught 10 fish, which here lately, that's a lot of fish. But we slowed down with a shaky head, using little old straight tail worms, things like that, and even necked it down a little bit. We just made it not really a Ned rig, but just a shorter version of that 6-inch worm. It seemed to get bit. The fish weren't everywhere. You had to knock around looking for the harder bottoms, anything with some gravel and maybe a little bit of stumps or something out there deeper, 10, 12 feet.
Well, it seems funny that there's a lot of different things that you can do to catch fish. Alec Harris from here at Bucks and myself, we fished together. We caught every single one of our fish on crankbaits, including running that Mercury on the Falcon all the way up to the Appalachian Bridge and caught some suspended spotted bass off of that bridge on a crankbait. So a lot going on at Neely. Seems like you can do a lot of other things out there. So let's turn to Weiss Lake and tell us what's going on up there at Weiss.
It's kind of still the same old song and dance. It's still hot. Fish are trying to get in the shallows. There were a few fish caught on square bill around dock posts and things like that. But it's still, we're a week or so off from it getting right. The cooler nights and the shorter daylight hours are going to help that. I'm starting to see more bait. I talked to a lot of guys this week seeing more bait get back in the pockets, so that's a good sign. Another thing, switching back, I hate to swap back to Neely, but I went down there and shot some docks for crappie this week and started catching some spots on those little old Bobby Garland baby sheds shooting those docks. So they're coming.
Uh-oh.
It's just, it's a matter of when they're going to jump on it.
Well, what do you think for next week at the Coosa River Team Trail up there at Weiss Lake? What do you think that's going to take?
I think it's going to take probably 15 to 17 pounds. Some of those big largemouth are starting to get around some wood cover. They're getting up shallow where these guys are used to catching them. The fish out deeper, you'll hit a spot or two and catch one or two, but that's about it. They're leaving that deep stuff. They're trying to get shallow. A lot of fish are still, like you said, on that crankbait suspended out there. You just got to kind of had to make them do something. But it's it should be better stringers this week.
Well, thanks for spending this time with us, Lee, on our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's head up to Guntersville on our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury. Tom, we got Tom Ott on the phone. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Dano. How are you guys doing?
Good. I know things have probably started to progress a little bit further up there with the cooler weather coming in overnights. What are you seeing out there on the big lake?
Well, I tell you, last week was a little bit tougher. I think those deeper fish are starting to move back, getting a little bit shallower. We're seeing that worm bite really pick up on those edges of the grass. Fished a little tournament last week. The weights were a little bit lower than I expected, but we did have some strong winds. We had a little bit dirtier watercolor. The temperatures really haven't dropped that much. I'd say probably in the mid to upper 70s right now. But that grass bite is really picking up. So the frog is really coming on. The flipping bite is really coming on. It's just by the time the elites get here, it ought to be wide open.
So I know that you and Jennifer have been spending quite a bit of time out there on the ledges. You talked about hard spots last week. You talked about grass edges with the big worm. What's the best time to kind of make that transition during the day? I know you can't necessarily just go do something. Are you going to throw frogs in the morning, then turn to the offshore? What kind of operation pattern are you working on?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, as far as the topwater bite goes, I mean, we're getting some topwater bites early in the morning. That small buzz bait seems to really be a player right now anyway. Pop-Rs, your spooks, those kind of things. But what I'm really doing is I'm starting on those deeper edges first thing in the morning, and then as the day progresses, the sun gets up, then I'll move towards the shallow water. And again, that's where the flipping bites really picked up. The mat fish on the frog bite, I mean, again, it's kind of a scan and scan and scan until you see those blowholes, and then you can find some active fish feeding.
So are you able to lock down into one place, or are you running a bunch of fuel through your Mercury engine these days?
Boy, I'm running up and down the river, Dan. I tell you, last weekend I didn't run a lot of fuel because those things are great on economy there. But I did go from the upper end of the lake all the way down and then back up again. And we struggled a little bit. I mean, we came in with a decent limit. And we had a good showing, but it was a little tough.
So looking forward to the next week with the weather the way it is. What kind of things are you expecting for this weekend coming up?
Boy, I can't wait to just get out there and just throw that frog all day. I love that. I mean, there's nothing like those big blow-ups for those big mamas coming out of the grass. So really looking forward to that. Can't wait for Saturday and Sunday both, actually, but ready to get out there and hit it again.
Well, Tom, thanks again for spending some time with us on our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
That wraps up our Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 12th. Tune into our social media channels next week, where Michael and I will be right back for another Bucks Island Area Fishing Report presented by Mercury.